hard. The only example on
Yep.
television growing up is when Sam the Butcher would bring Alice the meat. So yeah, and we know how she tipped him. Welcome to this week's episode of the CC Mouse Podcast. We're good for your ears. I'm Dan, and you can find me everywhere at RFS Dan.
And I'm Jess, and you can find me everywhere at Gone to the Snow Dogs and Snow Dogs Vlogs. Just type in Snow Dogs. I'll show up somewhere.
Mm-hmm. You know what you do, actually? I don't even have to fully type in your name, and it does autofill when I'm looking for stuff that you do. So that's kind of cool. Jess, we've been recording this podcast every other week now, and it still seems like every week.
It does.
Doesn't it feel like we just recorded last episode of the podcast?
I mean, last episode was really long, but yeah, it doesn't feel like it's been 2 weeks. I feel like even when we were talking about it the other day, I went, "Oh my gosh, we got to do that this week too. I better put that on the calendar."
Right? We get no complaints though about the length of our videos. The longer the better is what everybody says, and we got really good reception.
Right.
People said they really enjoyed the behind the scenes look at the Pet Expo and everything we did at the end of the year. So success, huzzah!
That was one more thing I forgot to do this week. I'm supposed to put that video together for the Dogs channel.
Ah, yes. The good old Dogs channel, which you switched to Saturday uploads, I noticed.
I'm testing Saturday uploads. Yeah, YouTube Talk. I went into my analytics and I studied when the most amount of people were on the channel, like the timing and things like that, and it suggested to try Saturday, so I figured I'd try it for a while. It does say that the majority of my audience is online on the weekend. So, I figured I'd test it, see what happens.
As a kid, that's when I was on the television. The most was on the weekends. Saturday morning cartoons, wrestling,
yep,
all that fun stuff.
We do have a really big younger-based audience as well, so that could be why. But maybe I figured we'd test it, see what happens.
It'd be a nice little test. Whatever. Saturday morning cartoons are a thing of the past now. I remember they got rid of those not too long ago. Yeah, I don't really have cable per se, but I have some of the apps that do have the live TV. And I don't think I ever see them playing live cartoon content at all.
No, I think because there's so many stations where you can watch cartoons all the time when you have cable, I think they kind of just ended it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough people out there that don't have some type of streaming service or some type. Not that there's not. In our area alone, there are places where people still can't get very good internet. So they're stuck watching whatever they can get through the old antenna TV. Digital antenna, whatever it is now.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, antenna. I don't think they show that anymore.
Yeah. You know what? I take all these apps for granted. I don't know what it would be like if I had to go back, because I've been a cord cutter for over a decade now. I have not paid for cable in over 10 years. I just have apps and stuff like that to watch the stuff on, like majority of the people. But if you don't have that and you live out in a crummy area, because everything's so internet based, heavy, to rely on the internet, I wonder what you do.
Even like Greg is a great example of that. Like Greg has to use basically 4G internet where he lives. That's the best he can get. There's a lot of games he can't stream. He cannot stream in 4K.
Right.
If he tries to stream a show and his roommate, his cousin that lives with him tries to stream a show, it doesn't work because they just don't have enough internet. So that was one of his struggles when he moved out to the more rural area where we're at. Jamie's cousin, same thing. He's trying to work from home. The internet sucks. So we actually do know that struggle out here.
Right. Yeah, so I should be lucky that my Wi-Fi, which, I remember I had those really big bad Wi-Fi issues for a long time. Or not Wi-Fi, but internet issues for a while. They mysteriously disappeared. So I'm pretty sure it wasn't me. I'm pretty sure out of all the hundreds of dollars I spent upgrading equipment and it still didn't work right, that it was probably the ISP companies.
Most likely.
Yeah.
We had that problem here when we moved into this house. It was insane. And they came out and they replaced a piece finally. After all the times we called, they replaced a piece at the pole outside. And we still had issues. And finally, the guy that runs the office here in town said, "Yeah, your neighborhood has had issues ever since we installed there." Why didn't you just tell me that? Just tell me that.
Yes, at least I don't get frustrated and oh my gosh, I replaced cables, I replaced lines, I bought hundreds of dollars of equipment trying to figure out it was me, only to be gaslit, if I used it right, by the ISP companies. Thank you, ISP companies. I will say, I do see the only connection I have to cable television is Crystal's mom. So the old people, they won't, tell me if this is true, they will not get rid of their land phone line. They will not get rid of their land phone line for anything at all. And I'm like, who calls you on this land phone line, Patty? And she's like, nobody, but just in case. Just in case what? Just in case Marty McFly goes back to the future and needs to like get a hold of you. There is nobody using, and when it rings, it's 100% advertisement every time. There's nobody at all. There's nobody at all on the other line. That's you're old. Like, everybody's dead. Like, why do you still have your landline? She doesn't want to give up the phone number.
Well, so my parents still have a landline as well. My mom and dad do. But honestly, when I call them, that's the number I call.
Their landline?
I won't call my mom's cell phone. I will call their landline. Their landline is a charter landline. Like, it's still a landline, but it goes through the internet or whatever.
Right.
But I call that number because if I call my mom's cell phone number, 99% of the time it's in her purse. So she either doesn't hear it ring or she's trying to go get it because she hears it ring. So I pretty much call their landline only. So she does use it. Like, she talks to me, she talks to my brother. She actually does use her landline. But it's because we all know if we call her cell phone, it won't be anywhere near her.
But that's okay if she uses the landline. But this phone is sat there untouched. There's probably spider webs on it. I'm sure the bat phone gets used more. But if you're using it, that's fine. If you're picking it up and you're using it like an old phone, like, hello, I get it. But just to have it sit there is crazy. So she's got this phone line that just rings. I think it's even silent. You just see it lighten up when it rings. And then she has cable. She will not get rid of cable. So I'm over there, and it's just... It's the cable's version of doom scrolling. It's just news. It's just commercial crap. It's formulaic primetime television with so many laughs per minute and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, but it's familiar. When I'm over there, though, it's glued to the Hallmark channel. All year long, 365, the Hallmark channel, which I don't mind too much because I sit there and just pick apart the movies, or, sometimes I enjoy them, but it's the Hallmark channel over and over and over again. So I guess it's her good feelings machine. That, and she still is old enough of that generation that she still has to watch the news. And I think my mom does too. It's always the news. Growing up, it would be primetime television shows. It would start like at 5 or 6 o'clock at night with some sort of game show, a Wheel of Fortune or something like that. It'd go into primetime, primetime Hardcastle and McCormick shows, or Spencer for Hire, or whatever those weird shows. Fantasy Island. I remember when I was 5, I'd have to go to bed when Fantasy Island came on. And then it was just doom news. So I couldn't imagine... every now and then I'm like, you know what I miss? I miss when television picked for you. Like, you'd flip around and you're like, oh, let's put this movie on that I would never go and select myself. And I'm like, Netflix should have this channel. All the apps should have this channel where it's just streaming movies, just streaming the stuff in a row. And that way you could go and just like have something on. Kind of like what Pluto TV, TV does. So I thought I missed that until I go over there and hang out a little bit and I flip through the direct TV, and I'm like, I'm not missing anything. And it's expensive too.
It is. I actually have cable service, but we have Spectrum. I have Spectrum's online streaming service, which is so like, I don't have a box in my house. They're not connected to the TVs. I have to use my Roku or whatever to actually see it, or Chromecast or whatever to see it. And the only reason I did it was because they gave me a 2-year package that made my internet go down $10 a month. But I get the same internet, but I also got TV. And I paid $10 less a month. Right. So I'm like, well, that makes sense. We don't use it. The only thing we use it for is when the hockey games are on, and I don't even need it because I have ESPN Plus. Like, because I have the Disney Plus, I have ESPN Plus, I have that Disney Plus ESPN Hulu package, so I don't really need it. Right. But there are some times when I'll be sitting here working at my computer, and I'll turn it on my monitor over here, just for something to watch. And like, if I'm not like, oh, I want to watch this, I will turn it on and I will find one of those channels that I know has something that I would watch, whether it's cartoons, and I'll just leave it on. But the same thing, like you said, when you start to like flip through the channels and you start like scrolling down and really looking, no, I don't have the desire to do that anymore. Like, I just want to find topic-based something I'm interested in and then let it play. Right. Time's a premium these days. You know what? I will say I did have a taste of television. That's right. I remember now. YouTube TV, great service. I used their 7-day free trial. And you got to watch out. If you guys are going to use their 7-day free trial, make sure you cancel it before the 7 days, because that's a $65 punch in the kisser if you don't cancel in time. And I will say that the service is just fine.
I was not into it at all. I didn't want to
Right.
watch the news. I didn't want to watch Wheel of Fortune or it just wasn't appealing to me. There was nothing that I want to watch. I didn't want to watch any kind of TLC show of somebody that's not of average height or not of average weight or found a fiance and you have an X amount of time to say yes or no. Like, I can't do that. I can't do this. So it's like,
Right.
I didn't want to pay for trash TV. So I kind of,
Right.
I made sure to get rid of that quick. You know what though? Speaking of TV, I was going to tell you last night, but you were already in bed because it was like 10 o'clock my time. Fraggle Rock is back, Jess. New episodes of Fraggle Rock
saw
start
that.
Friday. I was like, this is interesting. So I click on it to see what was going on. And it's the same cast. It's like Bober and Red. And like, I see the same
Is it
cast.
on Disney Plus?
It's on Apple TV.
Oh, well, then it's garbage. I don't need to watch it.
it's on Apple TV. But the Muppets are back. It looked pretty good. I couldn't tell if the background was CG or not, which I hope it's not.
Right.
But I was excited
That's
to see those
interesting.
faces, those unaged faces.
And it's interesting that they chose to go with Crapple TV because I couldn't help it.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting. So, like, because they did Dark Crystal Age of Resistance is a Jim Henson show. Disney owns a lot of the Henson productions. I don't know if
Right.
they fully own Henson Studios, but they own a lot of rights to the Jim Henson's products. You know, the Muppets, blah, 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 blah. So, like, when they did Dark Crystal Age of Resistance and they did it on Netflix and then they cancel it, my thought was they canceled it because they're going to put it on Disney Plus, which I don't think they're going to do. I think they had to hire like 2,500 people to do this show or something. I read somewhere. I don't know if that was the exact number, but it was insane. So it'll be interesting to see, one, how long it'll last on Apple TV. It would be interesting to find out why that was where they chose to put it when they could have put it on Disney Plus with all of the other Muppet stuff.
Money.
Like, all the Muppet shows are on Disney Plus. All the Muppet movies are on Disney Plus. Like, but maybe Fraggle Rock's not a big enough draw for people to be like, oh, I'm gonna get Disney to watch Fraggle Rock. So that's interesting. You'll have to tell me what you think about it, though.
Yeah, I'll definitely check
Did
it
you
out.
watch the first episode
No,
yet?
It comes out Friday. It comes out this Friday because
Okay.
because I have my Apple TV, so it was right on the front of Apple TV. But Apple TV, Apple doesn't own
Right.
it; they just own the rights to have it for a little bit. So there's oftentimes,
Right.
they're not calling it an Apple TV original, but there's a lot of times that I see
Right.
stuff go to Apple TV for 3 months or whatever, and then it makes its way over to Netflix. Kind of like the Beastie Boys documentary, which was fantastic. If you guys have not seen that, that was so good. That was on Apple Plus exclusive for a month or two, and then it went off to like Netflix
Right.
and other places like that. Same with the Beatles. I know the Beatles have that documentary on Apple Plus right now, but they don't own it, so it'll
Right.
go other places. So I'm sure they just got the highest bidder. But I thought you would love the highs and the lows of Fraggle Rock is back, but it's on the system that you'll have to sell your soul to watch it. And I can hear Steve in the background just yelling. I'll tell you what, everybody listening and watching at home. Steve and Jess in the group chat have this big pissing contest back and forth about Apple versus Android, and I just keep putting the Michael Jackson emote where he's sitting there eating popcorn from Thriller while I watch you two get like not irritated, but like we'll call it irritated at each other when you guys battle
It's too
of
fun.
the platforms. You guys do it like almost like brothers and sisters fighting, and I have nothing to say because like I have my iPhone and I like my ecosystem. Sure, there's problems, and I get the exclusivity of it is an issue, but like I don't know any different, so I just use my Apple phone. But you two will go to great ends. You'll put GIFs in there. There's like GIFs and emojis and stuff of the Apple. What is that? What do you guys call that logo? Is it a trash can or whatever? And it's eating like the Apple and stuff like that.
That's the Android.
Yes.
That's the Android
The little
droid.
Android droid. Yeah. So I thought this would be. I thought this would make Steve happy that you gave up as soon as I said it was Apple TV, and I thought you would make Steve unhappy when you called it Crapple TV. So don't worry though. I'm sure it'll leave Disney Plus. I wasn't able to watch any of it. I saw some thumbnails, so maybe I don't think it's out. Maybe it was just a trailer, but I couldn't tell if
Right.
it looked like it was a green screen in the background that they were like chroma keyed out of the stuff they were doing it on. But the
Yeah.
Fraggles were the Fraggles and looked ageless. And they were still. Do we call Jim Henson has Muppets? So they're all called Muppets.
They're all Muppets, yeah.
They're all Muppets.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're called Muppets instead of puppets. I don't know if you know this. You might not. They're actually called Muppets instead of puppets because most Muppets have, and actually I think almost all of them, have a mechanical aspect to them. So, like, they'll have, like, buttons inside where you can actually, like, move their... So some of them take way more than one person to run, but they'll actually have, like, the buttons inside to make it so their eyes move and things move. Sometimes their cheeks move. And I think that was why they started calling them Muppets instead of puppets, because they're kind of an advanced puppet. Because a puppet is just a puppet. You move its mouth. It doesn't have... Puppets don't normally have, at least back in the day, didn't normally have, like, eye motion and any type of expressional motion, where the Muppets... You can control so much more of them, their eyes, all the different things.
Right.
And I think that's why they called them Muppets, because they're basically mechanical puppets.
I actually have facts here. First of all, when I type in Muppet, it's like, here's the slang for Muppet. It's a slang for a stupid person. You Muppet, which I think is a great insult. But why is it called a Muppet? They're called Muppets because Jim Henson liked the sound of it. He told journalists that the word was a combination of puppet and marionette because it sounded more professional and plausible than the truth. Okay, I do remember that it was a combination of two words, so that's why they're called. That's why they're called Muppets, and I'm looking at all the Muppets over here. But I am excited to see Fraggle Rock, but I'm like aged out of it. I only remember it came on. It was right in my genre, and I thought it was a Disney deal. Like, I thought I watched it on the Disney Channel when I was little, like in the 80s and 90s.
You probably did. I mean, it was. I don't think it started on Disney though. I think it was on network TV first.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't
even know.
On
but I
Disney.
think it was syndicated on the Disney Channel.
Gotcha. Okay,
Like,
maybe that's where I had seen it at.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I didn't see anything else. I didn't see that pile of leaves, which had to have aged by now. Ugh. And I didn't see the doozer or the old man that I don't know what he was doing in that watch shop or whatever shop what he was doing in there. I did see that the UK version of the intro of the Muppets, of Fraggle Rock was different than the US version. And I guess you got to see a little bit more of that guy's inside place and what he was up to before it dipped down to that hole.
Did they still have Sprocket? Did you see the dog?
I did not. I just saw the Muppets there, but I did not see Sprocket. I'll have to do a little bit more investigation. This was last night. I watched this movie called Battle Royale, which was this Japanese version of what they based the Hunger Games on, and a little bit of Squid Games on it and stuff like that. And when I dumped out of it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was like 10:30 at night. I was like, oh my gosh, Fraggle Rock is back because it's taking up the full screen on the Apple TV. I was like, I just gotta tell Jess. So I saved it for the podcast, and I'll let you know how it is because it doesn't look like you'll be seeing it anytime soon. Oh my gosh!
Sure, I can find it on the internet somewhere.
I'm sure. You know what? Maybe I could turn on my cam. And you do have an Apple device. You could boot up your Apple device. I know it's probably holding up one of the legs of your wonky table. But
do you know what's funny?
What's that?
I have not touched it since Novi.
Yeah.
I haven't. It's sitting over there with the Zettel on top of it. I haven't touched it.
And you probably won't touch it again until next Novi. Or if you have to run a credit card transaction, since the credit card machine is set up through the iPad. Otherwise, it will just sit there and live a lonely death in Apple hate solitude for the rest of its life.
Pretty much.
Yes.
By the next time I go to open it, I'll forget the password.
I think I changed it to 1111111 because every time I had to do a card transaction, I think I was just like, no. Let me borrow your thumb. Can you cut your thumb off for me? I think I wanted you just to like remove your thumb so we could get into it. We can get into it easier. Oh man. So Jess, I went to the store the other day. It was yesterday. And for the last week or so, I've been looking for tater tots. You know those just the stupid little tots like Napoleon Dynamite, like just the tater tots. I can't find them anywhere. In fact, I can't find most things on the shelves at my store lately. Crystal doesn't know about this, which is good for her anxiety. I go do all the supermarket shopping lately, which is great. I know where everything is in the supermarket. But oh my gosh, everything in my town is out of stock.
Yeah. We don't have any chicken at Meijer. As of yesterday. I didn't go down the frozen food aisle, so I don't know if we had tater tots. And I will say the past couple weeks... The past 3 weeks, I've done Meijer home delivery because it's just been cold and I didn't want to go out.
Right.
Yesterday, I needed something and I'm like, you know what? I got to go out anyway. I'm just going to go to Meijer. And I think I sent you the picture. I walked through the meat department because I always do, and there was no chicken, and there wasn't even chicken at the butcher's counter because we have a butcher counter at Meijer as well, where you can go and get like if you want to cut a certain way. And I went over there, none. I didn't walk through the frozen food aisle. There was also no pop at all. Like it was just empty. I should have taken a picture of that. And that was empty Friday as well because when I did my order, I had a couple things on there for different types of pop, and she's like, they don't have this. And I'm like, oh, do they have that? They don't have that. They don't have this. They had Jamie's Canada Dry Ginger Ale, but that was it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So, yeah, even our little tiny town is running out of stuff. We don't have no chicken. I mean, Walmart might, but I'm not going there.
Yeah, right. Even you have standards, right? Even I have chicken standards. So that's right. You sent me that picture, and there was like 20, 30 feet of just empty. It was completely empty. Like it was just emptiness.
Yeah, completely empty.
Yes, I noticed that. Our like chicken breasts that are in the glass cases and stuff. Max price is $4.99 a pound, and a lot of times it goes down to $1.99 a pound. For when they have the sales and stuff. I haven't seen a sale on the chicken in like almost a year. Meijer still has sales, and that's usually when I buy it. The last time I bought chicken, I actually went to our small grocery store. I went to Purchase, and they had 10-pound already done 10-pound bags of chicken, so you had to buy 10 pounds of boneless skinless chicken breasts, but it was $1.79 a pound. Nice. And I'm like, that's a really good price, right?
And I just bought freezer bags, and I took it out and I froze them myself, but I bought that. So when I saw there was no chicken at Meijer the other day, I came home and told Jamie, I'm like, we have chicken, we should go stand out in front of Meijer and sell it.
You should put a little bit of marinade in there. You can just sell it like a commodity. Yeah. I also buy in bulk too. I'll buy 4, 5, 6 of them, throw them in little Ziploc bags, throw them in the freezer. But now all of a sudden they went from chicken to gold bricks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I hope this isn't a trend because I need tots. Dan, what do you use tots for? Like for egg burritos, like
hot dish.
Right? Yeah. You gotta have tots.
Hot dish.
You can't do French fries, and it's just not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. So tots are out of stock, and I'm not stoked. I tried to get some lunch meat the other day, and they didn't have any lunch meat either.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm about to eat a ham sandwich just with mustard and 2 pieces of bread. I haven't done supermarket. Maybe I did supermarket home delivery one time. We do the Walmart stuff, but not the food part because the food part is completely separate. They won't combine the two. But we'll order like cat litter or cat food and stuff like that. But lately, it's been taking almost 2 weeks to get here. So yeah, right. And so I'm just like, forget it. Like I don't mind braving the store. I mean, literally the Walmart's 2 miles up the street. It's like twice as far as your place. But like, you get free shipping at a certain price point. So might as well just order it and have it come here. The stuff was coming. Sometimes it was coming same day, next day. And now we're up to like almost a 2-week wait. So I'm like, forget that. The grocery store one we did during the pandemic, we did it a couple times when my kitchen was down. Remember like when there was the big catastrophe of the gas leak and nobody could go outside and the kitchen was down. So we did it a few times and I wasn't too stoked on it to be honest. Like I wasn't too stoked on it. So
I love it.
And the weather's fine here. Like it's even right now it's almost 60 degrees out. So I don't mind going to the store. It gets me out of the house a little bit and stuff like that. But I haven't tried that. And we don't even have like in your town you have that like automatic checkout system and you have the home delivery. Yep. We barely have home delivery systems out here. Yeah,
we have. I don't know if you guys have it out there, but Meijer uses a program called Shipped. So it's like a third-party service that Meijer uses. And it used to be like you would have to pay $15 a month to actually be able to use it. Uh-huh. But now, because of the pandemic, they've kind of changed everything. And like, if you order a certain amount, the delivery is like $8, And then of course you got to tip your ship driver. But the past couple of, like this month, right now, free delivery whenever I want it. Anything over $35, if I want it from Meijer, it's free delivery. And it's the same price as if I go in the store. Like everything's the same price as if I go to the store. So when it's minus 10 with the wind chill and I don't want to go, I'm like, where like if you use Instacart charges more per the item. That's how they make their money. I don't know how Shipped makes their money because the prices are the same as if I go in there. So I have no idea how they
not all these places make money. That's the thing. Not all of these places make money. Some of these are taking a hit in the pocket just to try to get your loyalty of service. I think that's what Overstock.com did for 3 years. The first 3 years Overstock.com did, they sold everything at a loss and just went so in debt in order to try to get you familiarized with just always using overstock.com when the
Right.
prices went back up. And that works if you can bankroll it, but if you can't, especially in a space where everybody started to do home delivery, you pull into every single location now, and those first prime spots you used to park in now say 1, 2, 3 on them, so you can go to Walgreens
Yep.
or Target or Best Buy. Our Best Buy's got 30 curbside pickups spots.
That's so crazy.
It is crazy, especially for a brick and mortar place that is bleeding out every year. Like,
Right.
your kids will not know at home. You guys will not know what a Best Buy is because it'll be gone. It'll be gone in the way of Circuit City by the time you guys are
Yep.
older. But yes, everything is a dang curbside pickup, a parking spot. But I haven't mastered the at home delivery.
I really enjoy it. Like I said, sometimes it's just nice. If I've got, which lately I feel like I get busier and busier and busier by the day. So it's been like, oh, just bring me this. I mean, there have been hiccups. The one time we had, the thing I really needed was chicken. And he said they were out of chicken, but he didn't text me and say, like, do you want a smaller package of chicken? And then when he got, and it was a guy that did it that time. And when he got here, I'm like, you didn't text me for anything. And he's like, well, most people are really picky, so I don't normally text people. And I'm like, oh, that's not how you do this. Like, so then when I got it last Friday, the girl would text me, and then she would text me a photo of the shelf. Like if it was one of the things I got, I don't remember what it was.
Oh my gosh!
But anyway,
I do that
the
to
brand
Crystal
that I
too.
wanted,
I'm
they
like,
didn't.
click. Yes.
Yeah. So the brand I wanted, they didn't have. So it was salsa. She texted me a picture of the shelf and said, "Would you like any one of these instead?" So it was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'll take that." And so I could see what was in stock and tell her. And she texted me like 5 or 6 different things. And when she got here, I told her, I'm like, thank you so much for doing that. Like that really, she's like, oh, I do that for everybody. Like if it's not there and you need it, she's like, I will try to find you a substitute. They didn't have 5-pound bags of potatoes, but they had 10-pound bags of potatoes. All right, I'll take the 10 pounds. I got to make potato soup anyway. Like I like that. So I would say 95% of my experiences with the home shopping, with the bring it to my house shipped stuff has been really good. But I've had a few where they haven't texted me or they forgot something. I had one guy that, like, when I looked on my thing, it said all these things were out of stock, but then they were here, but I didn't even get charged for them. And I'm like,
that's weird.
How did I, right? I'm like, how did I not get charged for 2 of them were milk? It said out of stock, but he brought them, but then I never got charged for them. So I told the shipped people because I'm like, I don't want anybody to get in trouble, but at the same time, like,
right.
There was a lot of stuff that I didn't get charged for, which seemed weird to me. So
I did see this TikTok or something. It's like, if you get a guy that's doing your online shopping for you, you're screwed. But what about people like your mom? Your mom lives so far out there. Those roads are going to be crummier.
So it was so funny. So my mom has never wanted to really do it, not because she didn't want to do it, but I think it was because it was so much unknown. My mom's not as tech savvy as the rest of us. So the past couple weeks when it got down to, it was minus 18 or whatever with the wind chill, and the roads were bad, and my parents live on a very curvy road. So I kept telling her, I'm like, just try it. Like, just try the shipped thing. So she finally did it for the first time. And she was like, oh, I forgot to write this down. What do I do? I'm like, well, Mom, she's going to text your phone. And when she texts you, it'll say, she's good.
Get it out of your purse.
Yep.
Get the phone out of your purse.
Make sure you have your phone with you because she's going to text you. And I'm like, when she texts you, she forgot to put English muffins on it. That's what it was. I forgot to tell her I needed English muffins. What do I do? And I'm like, when she texts you, text her back and say, hey, could you also grab English muffins? And she'll grab them. Well, but I didn't pay her enough, Mom. They don't charge you until after everything's done. Oh, okay.
They have it figured
and
out.
she did it. She went through and she did the whole thing online all by herself. She picked all of her stuff. She liked that she could just type in search what she wanted, but at the same time she could see the sales if she wanted to buy sales. And she did it. And she called me. That lady brought me my food, and she brought it right to the door. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, this is why I've been telling you should do this. Like, they bring it to your door. You guys don't know, my parents have a detached garage. So their garage is like, I don't know distance, like 25 feet from their house.
Yeah.
And you have to walk across like this icy sidewalk. Usually my dad's got it pretty taken care of. But when it's really cold, it still gets icy. And I'm always like, why are you trying to carry? They have a wagon. They'll put all their groceries in a wagon and pull a wagon to the front door because it makes it easier. So that's how they do it. And I keep telling her, I'm like, do the shipped thing. She finally did it. She's done it twice now. twice. I didn't have to go walk around the store. This is really cool. I don't know what. I'm like, Mom, I've been telling you this for forever.
I mean, yeah, because I'm sure your mom's done the grocery shopping all her life. Like, nobody shops for her but her. So it's got to be hard. You know, the only example on television growing up is when Sam the Butcher would bring Alice the meat. You know, so yeah, and we know how she tipped him. Other than that, like, you went to the store and got the stuff yourself.
Yeah.
So this is a new, this has got to be a new concept of this, like, somebody else is making the decisions for me, and I feel like I'm out of touch. But with the app, you're not really that out of touch.
And she did some produce and she did some meat, and those were the two things she had the most concern about, which I think most people do when ordering like that. Like, I know how I want to pick these things, but you don't know how I want to pick these things.
Right.
But she did it. She's done it twice now. I think she's going to do it again this week. It's pretty cold out and windy and nasty today. She'll probably do it again this week. But it's just, it's nice to see her progressing and being able to be like, I can now do this. I now understand it. I can now do it. But it was just so cute. Well, what do I do? I'm like, just tell them that you forgot something. It's not that hard. It's not that how much do I tip? That was the other thing. I got to tip these people. How much do I tip them? And I'm like, Mom, that depends. Like, 10%, 15%. They do got to drive 4 miles to get out to your house because she lives, 4.5 miles out of town. Mm-hmm. I'm like, so it's really up to you. I'm like, but I would do like at least 10% of your order depending on how much you ordered. And she's like, okay, I can do that. Do I give them cash or I'm like, you can do it on the thing or you can give them cash. Whatever works for you, Mom.
I never thought of that, but I'm not the one making the orders. It's Crystal's the one making the orders. But I guess you would tip the people.
Yeah, I always tip the drivers. I always tip the shipped people. So realistically, I pay more for my groceries than if I would just go get them because I do tip the drivers. I usually do, depending on the order, it's usually 15% tip. So if I ordered $100 worth of groceries, you're getting $15. Like, because I also know that it's not that easy of a job to do. And for me to pay the $15 extra, I didn't have to go. I didn't have to spend the time there. I didn't have to stop what I was doing. I didn't have to step away from a meeting last week it was the virtual summit. I was in that virtual summit all day. So it worked out good for me. It was worth the $15 for me. It just bring me my food.
It's a nice convenience. And I do see, like, you have to be efficient. Like we say, like, when that girl's running around your supermarket, we're getting out of the way. Like, you got to scan, you got to go, you got to know the store layout. You got to know where the stuff is. Because time is money on those apps. I don't see too many people at my grocery store, which is a Tater Brothers. I don't see too many people there that I recognize doing, like, the shipped stuff there. But at the Walmart, I do. At the Walmart, I see, like, there might be 20 to 30 employees of Walmart that are pushing around this big cart with the bins on them, and they're just going from aisle to aisle in the grocery section, filling it up, and then people are curbside picking picking up. Those people are pillars, though. Oh my gosh, they don't get out of your way. They just they don't get out of your way, and they want to let you know what aisle the baby wipes are on. They don't at all. So yeah, so that's cool that you've, like, modernized. The pandemic's really done a good job on pushing people forward into curbside pickup, self pickup. When I was working at the bike shop, I kept pushing for it. I was like, we need to start offering curbside pickup. We need to start offering where somebody can just pull up, the bike can go into the car, I can get them what they need, they can sign the thing, they can go. I would just do it myself. I would, like, if they were coming, I was like, I can bring the bike out to you and stuff, but we need a dedicated spots. And it was just, we would have been an early adopter on it, and it just wasn't clicking with anybody that this was this was a thing. And then after, the popular sickness happened, it really forced people into learning how to do curbside pickup, especially the older, because at some point there's still people alive at this cutoff age where technology is, like, bad. Not bad per se, but I am not I'm not trusting it. I'm not relying on it. I'm not going to depend on it. And I think we've really pushed back that age to an older demographic.
I think so too. And I think, like the deli is a great example. When we first opened the deli at the new location, we started online ordering way before everybody else was doing it. Like, there was no McDonald's mobile app. There wasn't we started doing online ordering. And the people, our age and a little bit younger, they got it. They're like, oh, sweet. I can just go here and I can order it for pickup or delivery right through the app. But getting the people, I would get the people. I'd be on the phone. We'd get another call. I'd be like, oh, hold on. I got to put these people on hold. And I'd click over to the other line because we had the, call waiting. You click over. Thank you for calling Dig 5 Deli. Can you please hold? And you click over and you go back. Well, anybody that tried to call after that, it would go to a voicemail. And the voicemail said on the voicemail, thank you for calling Take 5 Deli. We're probably on the line with another customer. If you'd like to place an order and you can't get through, you can go to take5deli.com, blah, 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 blah. And it said how to do it. And I would, click back over to people, take their order, and then somebody would call. Yeah, I listened to your voicemail. It said something about ordering online. And I'm like, yeah, if you don't want to wait on hold or if you can't get through to us, you can order online. Yeah, I'm just not comfortable doing that. You don't pay it. And at the time, you didn't pay online. You still paid us when we brought it to you, or we would call you and get your credit card number. You didn't have to put a credit card, because we knew that was a thing in our town that still wasn't an advanced thing. But we were one of the first people, one of the first restaurants and people besides pizza places in our town that was doing this online ordering. And there were so many people that just did not understand it. But those people now, because we still have a lot of the same customers, when the pandemic and everything started happening, they learned online ordering other places. The deli gets so many more online orders now. And like I said, we've had it for forever, but now they know how to do it. Yep. Now they understand it. They get the concept. They'll try to call, because I get it. There are still people that want that. They want the communication. They want to talk to us on the phone. Hey, how you doing? How your kids doing? Blah, 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 blah. Here's what I want to order. And we have that personability still at the deli. When people call and they're like, hey, this is so-and-so, I want my regular. You know who it is. You know what their regular is. They want that interaction. Yeah. But I feel like now they're to the point where they're like, I get it. If I called 3 times and I can't get through, I'm just going to use your online ordering. Yes. So the online ordering has really blown up at the deli because everybody's been forced to learn how to do it.
And I think the concern is you're sending your order into the abyss. You're sending it just into nowhere. You hit the next button, off you go. We got it. But did you? A human being's not talking to me. So that is a lot of thing to try to get around. But leave it to the big companies to normalize that by showing you commercials. Yep. They paid a lot of money. You guys aren't making a commercial of order online now at http // because .com was taken or something like that. You're not putting that out there in everybody's faces like all these bigger companies are. So that is one of the good things. And oh my gosh, can we talk about this McDonald's app? They have it nailed to a T. I don't care if the drive-thru is completely empty. I'll still pull into that spot and wait for them to bring me out my food. I just order it right there. I have so many McDonald's points. I'm McDonald's points rich. Oh my gosh.
Me too.
I'm McDonald's point rich, but they have it nailed. You just pull up in front of one of those signs and then you do it. Oh, speaking of that, did you see the video? I think I showed you the video of the older lady that gets out. And if you guys been to the McDonald's, you guys pull in front of that sign, right? Everybody at home, and you guys see that rectangle sign. Is that the shape? Yes. And it's got a mobile phone on there, and it says you're in spot 4. Go to your app and go here. And the lady gets out. What is that? What does that say? Bless her heart. Yes. The lady gets out and she walks up. And she's trying to push on I'm using the cell phone here, but she's trying to push the button, the thumb button on the phone to order her food on there. And
on the metal sign.
On the metal
that says
sign.
Mobile pickup.
She's parked in front of it with her Buick. And she's just pushing it, trying to order her 23-cent cheeseburger.
As funny as it is, gotta give her props for trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
The fact that she got out of her car and was like, I'm going to figure this out today. That's not how you do it. But, at least she tried.
I mean, a mouse in a maze would have figured it out eventually. But it was the sweetest sad. It was a sweet and sad sauce. It was sweet and sad sauce. Cute video of this old lady pushing the buttons there. But unfortunately, and McDonald's is still the least expensive of all the fast food places, by half. By half right now. So I am like the rat in a maze where I am just addicted. Now I want McDonald's. I've been trying so hard. I was good, Jess. I was so good until after
You were for a long time.
I was so good. I went 2 months, and then now I'm just all I want is McNasties and McStomach aches and all that good stuff.
Out of all the fast food places, whenever we order fast food, McDonald's still by far has the best app. Culver's has online ordering now. It's horrible. They don't even have an app. You have to do it through their website. It's absolutely horrible. My KFC doesn't have online ordering, but the one an hour south of us does, which I don't understand. Taco Bell's app is pretty good too, comparatively to McDonald's. Taco Bell's is pretty good. They have a lot of where you can do a lot of customizations and stuff, which I like. Wendy's is horrible.
Yeah,
I eat too much fast food to know all that.
I know, right? You don't have a Carl's Jr. / Hardee's. They don't even have an app.
No.
How does that? They're such a big chain, too. They just don't even
Arby's
have an app.
Arby's doesn't have online ordering.
Yeah, we have the meat, but no app. Yeah, Arby's is huge.
They have an app. They have an app, and you can see their menu on their app, but you can't order anything.
Yeah, that seems odd to me. I get mad at Taco Bell because when I go on the app and I do it, and it's like I don't think it was letting me pay on the app. It made me pay when I got there. The prices at our Taco Bell are between $50 to $1 higher than the app, and I get irritated. And they don't care out there. They're just like, I don't care. Have a cinnamon coated packing peanut on us. But they won't. I like those actually, but they have the worst. All right.
Yeah.
Enough food talk. I want to get to our favorite villain, Logan Paul.
Oh God.
Which I like Logan Paul. Here's the thing about Logan Paul. Everybody hates the guy, which that's the gimmick. He's professional heel, professional bad guy, professional snake.
Right.
It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. He hated KSI. Him and KSI is what started the whole boxing thing. Both are co-owners of a sports drink business. It's all just gimmicky. But I was a little happy to see that he spent $3.5 million on a sealed box of Pokemon cards. These are the original first run box, do you remember when Pokemon first came out?
Yes.
We all had these cards. I had the Charizard. I had a Pikachu. I had these things that are worth so much money now for nostalgia purposes. Because by the time Pokemon came out, cards were devalued. During the early 90s, baseball cards and everything, they were super popular and super rare in the 60s, 70s, 80s, or whatever. As soon as the 90s came around, Topps and stuff and Upper Deck, they just printed 1 million of them. So there's nothing, nothing was worth anything. So it's these cards are just whatever. It's a game from Japan that came and went. I remember seeing at Toys R Us, it was 99 cents for the starter game. It wasn't a starter box, but it was a starter game that came with 3 or 4 packs of sealed cards, a map, the dice set, and all that stuff. And I remember just kicking it around. So disrespectful for cards that are worth so much money. I see Logan Paul on his last. I see him on this photo over here that I'll spare you guys the visuals on. That he's walking around with a chain around his neck with his Gem Mint 10 CGC Charizard that he purchased for $150,000. I've held one. As I'm like, ooh, and I didn't even really play Pokemon. I'm like, whatever. My friend's son would play it all the time. We were playing other games, like Magic style games. So we'd mess around and play the Pokemon a little bit. Did you ever own any Pokemon cards at all?
I had some, but it wasn't something that I was into.
No, I think
we would buy them for the fun, of open, see what you get. But that was it. We never played it. It wasn't. I think my brother played it because I think when we would buy the cards, we would just open them for fun and then we'd give them to my brother.
Okay, right. Which you could have been having so much money in your hands to pass through. Even in high school, I remember they were playing with the cards and stuff like that. We were like, Poke Jerks! We were just like, this is, and now these cards are worth an insane amount of money from, just from hype. It's hype. Yep. Get hyped!
From the hype. You gotta have the hype. You gotta have the hype.
Gotta have the hype. Yes. So there was so much money. So, Jess, did you see any of this at all?
I read the article. And then I watched part of the video where they're like, this company that verifies whether or not these things are real.
Yes.
Verified that purchase before he purchased it.
Well, they verified the sealed box. It's the BBCE,
the sealed box.
Baseball Card Exchange.
Yes.
Company. It's they're based out of Atlanta, and they check to see if things are authentic, right?
Right. And they verified that was a real sealed box, and it wasn't. You guys,
look, if you guys love Logan Paul or hate Logan Paul, you have to watch this video just to go through the roller coaster ride of what happens. If you like him, you'll feel bad a little bit. If you hate him, you'll be like, good, that's what you get. You slimy, you slimy dirtball, right? So he purchases this box of Pokemon cards for $3.5 million from this other dude who bought it from another guy from $2.7 million, who in the first place in the video talks about how it seems sketchy in the first place.
Yep.
I don't feel like, but I do see on Logan Paul's YouTube, when I was kind of looking around to do some research for this story, I do see that he was opening up real boxes of Pokemon cards from back in the day. He spent $200,000 on one of the boxes or something like that, right?
Right.
So he was set up to make a ton of money on this. And he was opening them up live and stuff like that, and he didn't get that Charizard, but he still got, I think he spent $250,000 and he got 10 or 20 grand worth of cards in each box, because each box isn't guaranteed to have all the cards,
Right.
And to the point where like back in the day, you'd go to the comic book store or whatever, and you'd buy packs of cards, and they'd be sitting out on the glass shelves. Then after a while, when you figured out how to feel the packs, you remember ever doing that, where you could kind of feel for the insert card and stuff like that. Then they started putting them behind the counter. They'll bring them to you. You can pick your one out of there, but you can't feel the packs.
Yep.
Which those were back in the day you could, or people would take their scales and try to weigh the packs to see which ones had like the thicker little cards that weighed more and stuff like that. So yeah, you remember that?
There's these Disney Dorable figurines that you can buy a box, and the box says how many comes in the box, and you will get a minimum of 4 for $10, or you can buy singles for $5 a piece. But if you buy the box for $10, you get a minimum of 4. So you're already up if you buy the box, but you can get up to 7 in the box. Not gonna lie, was at Meijer the other day, and I picked up a box, and I went, well, that's way heavier than these. And I'm like, I'm gonna take that one. I set it aside, and then I pulled every single box off the shelf and went, this is what I'm gonna buy. Came home, opened it, I got all 7.
That's wisdom. See, that's wisdom.
Yeah.
So, I played this game called HeroClix, and you get a brick of them. So there'd be 9 boxes, and each box was like $10. And one of the times because when they package them, and then like the inserts will get dropped in. And then one of the runs, they knew that if you went 3 boxes up and 2 over, those 2 boxes had all the rares in them. So people would take those boxes out, put new boxes in, try to shrink wrap them and sell them. So anytime we'd buy them online, we got duped. Like we didn't get any of the good stuff until we found out later that they had pulled all the good ones out and replaced them with boxes of just the crummy ones that it didn't work for. Even for like the Lego minifigs, Crystal would feel them at the store. She'd sit there and feel them all until she felt like the head of the mohawk of the one that she wanted, or the sword of the one that she wanted.
I don't know if they've changed it, but the My Little Pony ones that you used to be able to get, the Lego minifigures, and there was a couple other ones, there's actually a stamped code on the bottom, and you could go online and you could find the code, and the code would tell you which ones were in there. So you'd stand in the store with the one you want, and you'd have the website open, and you'd be like, that's not it, that's not it, that's not it, that's not it. And then you'd find it, and you'd be like, that's it. And you're feeling the package to make sure it feels like you think it's, oh yeah, I've done that.
They'd be imprinted, the numbers imprinted, imprinted on the actual package. So we're no better than anybody else. Now we're looking like villains in this story. Oh my gosh.
That's the Disney Dorables. So see, you get, how many will you get? 5, 6, 7. And then when you open it up, it's got all these little doors behind them, and they're either supposed to be full or empty. So, yeah.
You didn't tell me you purchased those, Jess. Usually you're like, look at this. What's going on? I'm finding out new things about you every day.
And I got some really cool ones. And then, like, on the back, it shows, like, oh, if it's this color, it's ultra rare. If it's this color, it's special edition. I got 2 special editions in one box.
Because you weighed them?
Don't buy these. They're addicting, because there's 41, and this is Series 5, and this is Series 5. I want the Nightmare Before Christmas ones, but I wanted Olaf. And when I bought it, I'm like, I really want Olaf. I got Olaf.
I don't even know. The Nightmare Before Christmas ones would be cute, though.
That's the ones I really want. I need to find those, but I don't need to find those, but I need to find those.
So he buys this box. He sits down. He has the guys there looking at it. The guy's like, oh, the tape's even old on the box. This is going to be it. Which kind of puts a little bit of like mud on the face of the baseball like card exchange, because they're supposed to be pros. But good fakes are good fakes. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Good fakes are good fakes. So he sits there. They open up the box. And oh man, you guys, the drama is great, and you can see like this is for reals. You can see the emotion. Logan is not acting. You can see it all over his face. He opens it up. They get so stoked, and they're pouring wine, and their chest bumping. They're hyped because all the boxes are in there, and then they're like, "Why are they puffy?" Because they're going to be tight shrunk wrap. And then sure enough, they open up one, and GI Joe cards come out of there, which are worth about $2 a pack.
Right.
And just to see the face was great. And you can see the
defeat.
And you can see the guy that was there from the card exchange look up and said, we were all duped, right? Like he's trying to get out of whatever legal trouble he could be in, which is probably nothing. You're just asking for his wisdom. But oh my gosh, they were fake. I don't know how long boxes been faked for, because I don't know how long those G.I. Joe cards have been around for. They weren't like super old,
right?
But I could tell that they were like not. Maybe I guess in my mind, still the '90s when this was out was just like yesterday, even though it was 30 years
Right,
ago or whatever.
right.
But yeah, so they were all fake. I believe he was trying to get his money back from the other guy who said he'd give him his money back because he got duped as well.
Which is crazy that he's just like, I'll just give you the money back. But you're not going to get your money back. I mean, maybe he'll be able to get his money back, too. I don't know.
Well, I did see in the video, like, he's there with the guy that he purchased them from. And they said, like, dude,
Yes,
if these are
yep.
fake, like, I'll give you your money back. So now they're trying to go and find, well, not they're finding, they know who the guy is. They showed a picture of the dude he got it from and try to figure out if he knew it was fake and see if they can trace it back. So now I'm kind of invested in the story. Like, I hope it doesn't end. I hope we get more story of where these came from. How did this happen?
Right.
You know, they were definitely printed and shrunk wrapped to be faked. So how did they get it in that box? So that guy was so certain these boxes were aged, unless you do it like wine, where they packaged up, because the outside boxes were also fake because they didn't say Series 1 on them or like original Series 1 on them like they should. If they were all fake, they taped it up and let it sit in some guy's attic for 15, 20 years, you know, and a lot of people do that too. You know, if a lot of people buy 2 or 3 things, you know, I'm buying one to open and buying one to save and buying one to sell. Ugh, that bit me in the butt with my Death of Superman comic books. I traded all my comics. I traded hundreds of comics for those Death of Superman books, only to have them, guess what? Spoiler, he's not dead. So sad. I was so sad. I was as sad as people were when they rebooted Beanie Babies. Oh my gosh.
Oh, jeez.
Did you collect those Beanie Babies?
I still have my McDonald's. I still have my McDonald's Beanie Babies.
Oh, that's right.
I even have one right here. Look, this is a new one though.
That's Sven?
This is Sven.
See, I know that now because I watched Frozen.
You did.
I
Yeah.
did.
So yeah, I have a Beanie Baby. I didn't collect like the craziness like all the people did when it came to the Beanie Babies, but I collected because I worked at McDonald's. I collected the McDonald's Beanie Babies actually.
Yes, which were little tiny ones that came in the Happy Meals in a little pack.
You can see it.
Yeah,
That's one of my. That's a Beanie
yeah.
Baby Beanie Baby pin from McDonald's when I worked at McDonald's as a crew member.
Oh, that's cool. That's the only way you could get
But
those, huh?
Yeah, so that's the only way you could get the pins. So I have the set from 2000, the McDonald's set. I have it downstairs. Plus, I have they made a bear that you could only get as a crew member, and I still have that as well.
Ooh, I wonder if that's worth anything. Probably nothing after they screwed
Probably
everybody over. So the Beanie Baby was hyped. Everybody loved it. People were cashing in college funds and inheritance and stuff like that to invest in Beanie Babies. My comic book store slowly turned into a Beanie Baby place, which sucked. You know, I'd go in there to buy comic books, and I'd go in there to buy hockey cards, and there would just be a bunch of like bean bags in the shape of stupid things that nobody cared about. Well, everybody cared about them in there and stuff like that. It would smell like perfume in this place. I'm like, how come it doesn't smell like sweat and virginity in here? It now smells like perfume. And then as you guys know, they made crazy ones. They made one for Princess Di when she died.
Yes.
And then they made all kinds of crazy. There was a stupid crab. Everybody wanted crabs. I don't know why. And then they made the last one called The End. And that was it. It was the end. And everybody bought it. And that was the end. And people were crying and going nuts and fighting over it like it was Cabbage Patch Kids. And then the next year, a Beanie Baby came back called The Beginning. Or New Beginnings.
Yep.
And then they re-released all the old ones again and just devalued the whole market. That tells you got to stop America.
Did you watch that documentary?
Stop. I saw the documentary. It was on one of those like
HBO Max.
It was at HBO Max. Yeah, it was one of those documentaries about it. If you guys can find it, you guys should watch it. It's an insanely interesting lesson.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes you just
that
gotta
was
let
a really
things
good
go.
documentary. That was a really good one, and the LuLaRoe documentary. If you were watching,
I didn't see the LuLaRoe documentary. I did not see that one.
It's good.
Is that
You
the
should
one
watch
with
it.
the sport? Like, because LuLaRoe's... No, that's Lululemon. Oh my gosh. I got my
Right.
Lulus wrong. I'm sorry. I did not watch the LuLaRoe one. I did not watch that
Right.
one. I will check that one out. I did watch the Beanie Babies because, I'm simple. I did watch the Beanie Baby ones,
Right.
though. And we lived through it. And I remember when it died.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know why. I didn't know they brought back a new Beanie Baby that the one white bear ruined everything. Ruined the whole economy.
Yep.
Death threats, and the guy couldn't go out in public forever.
It's funny because, it happens. It happens to a lot of companies. I love Spirit Hoods, but there was a time where, like, everything was limited edition and collector's edition, and they would only have 10, and then they started doing re-releases. Now, when they did the re-releases, they weren't the same. They looked the same, but they were a different fur or a different liner, and there were people that were like... The problem was the community was so small. People were like, I really wanted that, but there was only 10 of them ever made. So then they would come out and go, okay, well, here we're going to
Yeah.
release this, which looks the same, but it wasn't the same. But people couldn't differentiate because it looked exactly the same. It was like, well, the liner's different, or the fur isn't the same, or it doesn't feel the same. So it's not that hood that there really is only 10 of. But it ended up devaluing the collector's market
Yes.
because people got upset. It's bounced back considerably now from when that first happened. There's been a huge bounce back, which has been nice. But there were people that were doing the same thing with those, just like the Beanie Babies. I was doing it for a while. Like, I would be at work at the deli, and the launch would happen at 9 a.m., and I'd be at my computer with that buy button. You're like, okay, I know there's only 9 of these, and, you know, I would get it, or, you know, I would miss it. And then you'd hold on to it for a few days, and then you would trade it for something that was, you know, I may have missed this release, and I'm going to trade you for this because I got this one that there was only 10 of, and I want that one that there was only 9 of. So that whole fun aspect of it kind of went away for a while, but it's definitely coming back now. They've kind of shifted back into that mentality, and I think that just, for me, and I know a lot of the people, it drives us to want to purchase it because, well, I could get this and now I could trade it for something that's worth more.
Yeah. People need a
So,
lesson
I
in
get it. It's
supply
the
and
same
demand
type of
again.
thing.
Yep, same
Yep.
thing. Same thing with the pop figs. And I saw that they're having issues too because they used to be rare, they used to be hard to get, and now they're so saturated. Every living thing is a pop fig. It's gotten to the point where it's gotten ridiculous. And what is collectors anymore? If you're just gonna release 40 more versions of it with a different paint job, or now look, there's a Dan Pop fig, and now there's a Dan Pop fig with a pen in his hand, and you know, it makes you go crazy, or you get mad. Like I got mad the other day. All you guys know that if you guys watch any of the RFS Dan stuff, they had a 2-pack pop fig with Jan Brady and George Glass, and from the Brady Bunch. And if you guys don't know the little thing, they were asking if she had a boyfriend, and she's like, oh yeah, his name is George, and then saw a glass over their glass, and she was making up the boyfriend. It was an empty space in there. It wasn't even a clear pop figure. It was an empty space in the 2-pack at still full retail price. Tell me that's not jumping the shark. Like, that's just, tell me that's, oh my gosh, I was trying to pull my eyes out. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I have like 2 pop figs over there from my hockey team. There's some Pittsburgh, even that one. There's a Sidney Crosby one, and there's an exclusive Canadian one where he's got the reverse jersey on. Right. It's like, just give it up. Give it up. You know, so
I have the dark crystal ones. There's like 2 or 3 that I have repeats of because in one they're holding something in one hand and one it's a different thing. But you got to have both of them because, you know, in your mind, they get you because they get the people that want to complete the set. And I have that issue.
But
you know?
but keep it obtainable where you can complete the set. Don't just dip it in gold or glow in the dark ink or shoot glitter all over it and then expect it to be like expect the people not to be unhappy.
Exactly. That's the difference.
That is the difference. Okay, so on that question, are you gonna bring back the Kira and Memphis plushies that you sold?
the Kira, they're right back there. They're right there in my little glass
There's a
case.
lot of people that still want them.
So the plan is
have I talked us into a corner?
The Oakley and Shelby ones have to come out first, which
okay.
I mean, I could do a reveal of what the Shelby one is going to look like.
I'm put no. Only because I've seen it, but no, we gotta wait.
Right. The Oakley and Shelby ones are coming out hopefully within the next couple of weeks. I just talked to them yesterday.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You know, pandemic stuff going on. So Oakley and Shelby will come out together. We plan to do a Shiloh one all by herself because a lot of people are like, you have to do a Shiloh one. So we've already started it because the process has been taking so much longer because the company's been growing. We've actually started that one as well. I kind of talked to them about, hey, what if we do a re-release of these? But I don't like the idea because I same thing. I pitched it as limited edition. So which we probably will, if we do a re-release of them, we've talked about doing like either like a different sitting position or maybe something a little bit different, or they'll have something sewn like on them that'll actually say like series 2, where it'll clearly you'll know this was not the original run. And the only reason we want to do it is I get emails and messages every day from people that missed out, and I feel bad. Like I wish we could just continuously sell them and like they would. Right. So many would sell and then they would sell, but there's no way to do that. So will they come back? if the demand, I feel, is still big enough for those two by the end of the year, like closer to Christmas, we'll re-release them, but they will be different.
Well, we have to now after all our talk.
They do have white that glows in the dark. We could re-release them where all the white on their fur glows in the dark. We could re-release them with like a glow in the dark collar. Like, so there's options that they've kind of given me of like, hey, we could do this or we could do that. The other thing is like we could get more detail on it. Like with Memphis, we didn't really do like the white strip that goes down the back of her head, which I wished I would have done, maybe in the re-release. That's what it is. We do a little bit more detail to each of them, spend a little bit more time going back and forth with them. Will it happen? I don't know. But the Shelby and Oakley are coming. And the Oakley is actually going to have longer fur, which I'm so excited about.
Yes, I know. Oh, and this has been going on since maybe October of these two ones. It's not easy. It takes a long time to get this stuff done. It's
hard because there's a disconnect between who I talk to versus the design team.
Right.
So like I have a contact and that's who I talk to. They're restructuring their business right now. So I will be talking to the design team. I will actually have an email chain that goes back and forth with the design team instead of this middle person, which I think will be phenomenal because then like right now I have to tell this guy has to tell that guy has to tell this guy has to tell me. So there's such a disconnect and it's taking forever. So, but I have the Shelby prototype, which Dan says you guys can't see. It has the wrong color eyes anyway. You don't want to see it. And the Oakley prototype hopefully will be here this week. And as long as I approve that one, then we'll be good to start promoting and start getting those out there. And those will be the same way as Memphis and Kira. They'll be sold as a pair, or you can either buy them singular, or if you buy them as a pair, you save $5.
Okay.
It's coming. I swear.
It is coming. And they're going to be super cute, too. I have mine over there.
Yeah.
Yours look good. Look, there's some other dog channels. I ain't trying to throw shade. I think that's a new hip word, or maybe I'm past that. Maybe shade's got shade on it already. Can't say it. But there's some creepy-looking plushies out there.
Yeah,
and, yeah. I'm like,
I like the style of these.
I like the style of these, too, with the cartoony heads and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So before we wrap this up, I asked people to just submit questions on SpeakPipe. So if you guys want to get your voice on the podcast, speakpipe.com/ccmouspodcast is where you can go to leave your comments, your questions, your concerns. We'll take all of them here. Jess, you might not be able to hear the one we'll play today. We'll do one of two today. I have two here. I know we're running out of time here, so let's do one today, and we'll do one next week. We'll play it for everybody, and then I will say it to you out loud because you're not going to be able to hear what it says. All right, let's play the first one here. This one is from PJ. Let's see.
Hey Jess, hey Dan, it's PJ, youtube.com/ignition1991. And my question for you today is paper or plastic? Haha, just kidding. My question actually is, Jess, what are some updates on Second Chance Animal Shelter, this organization that you have put a lot of time and effort into in Alpena? I'm very curious, and I think everyone else would like to know as well. Where are you guys at with things?
PJ, thank you so much for your question. PJ asks, where are you at with the Second Chance Shelter right now? A thing that you've put a lot of time and energy into. Do you have any Second Chance Shelter updates for us?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys paid attention, but the 17th of January was the Betty White. Would have been Betty White's 100th birthday, and they did like the Betty White challenge all over Facebook, and people were raising money. Mm-hmm. We did a fundraiser. I think it hit almost $2,000, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
They did one which reached $5,000, but they had been doing it for longer. Like I did one for one day. So I did a tour video a couple weeks ago in a vlog, but everything wasn't finished yet. I actually went and visited the shelter. It would have been like about a week ago now. And it should be open this spring. The paint's done, the floor's done, the kennels are done, the back area hasn't been fenced in yet. So when we bought the building, when my friend bought the building and they're leasing it to us or whatever, when we got the building backs up to another 40 acres of property that was owned by somebody else, and it actually got sold at a tax auction. We weren't able to buy the whole 40 acres because the animal shelter didn't have the money to buy the 40 acres, but the guy that bought it knows who we are and actually is giving us a section of the property behind the building. So we're going to have like a fenced in area for the dogs. Yeah, because otherwise all we have is a little tiny area. So we were really taking a risk when we got that building without having a lot of space for the dogs to like be out in the yard. So it worked out really, really well. So the fencing for that still has to be done, but the inside of the building is pretty much done. And it's even more done than when I did the tour. We have the kennels, we have the really cool epoxy floor, and they did such a good job on the floor. Like when the wall comes to a corner, they actually curved the corners instead of having that hard corner to make everything so much easier to clean. And it's so mind-blowing when you walk in there. It like you look around and you go, wow, this was almost 3 years ago. This was started when we sat inside of this little tiny room at North Country Candy and Gifts with like 8 or 9 people that went, we want something better. And we just ran with it. And now it's like, it's there. It's a reality. The whole front of the building's done. The parking lot's been paved. It's there. It's a reality. So as far as I know, the last time I talked with Leanne, they're hoping for a spring opening. Like in the spring, they'll open the store because when you walk into the front of the building, there's like a big area. And that's actually going to be the Second Chance resale shop. So people will be able to go in there and buy like, it's all going to be like second chance stuff.
Right.
We'll have like reclaimed stuff. Like people might have a dresser that they're selling that needs a coat of paint. Well, we have people that volunteer their time and they'll actually go through and they'll strip paint off of it. They'll paint them and they look really cool and they make, really cool furniture. That'll be in there. Plus we'll have like, the Second Chance mugs and things that say Second Chance Animal Shelter on them and stuff like that, which if you guys don't know, it was originally called Alpena County Animal Facility, so it was ACAF. That's what we started as, and as we learned more and moved more into this, we were getting feedback from a lot of people that the name sounded cold. Like when you say Alpena County Animal Facility,
it's the word
it
county.
Sounds like right, it's county and jail. Facility. Yeah, people were mistakenly think it was run by the county, which it's not. Right. And the other thing was people were kind of giving us that feedback. So we did some polls, we talked to some people, and the board as a collective was like, what should we change it to? So Second Chance is what we originally wanted to call it, and we just kind of went away from it. We wanted a more professional blah, 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 blah. Either way, we have now changed the name to Second Chance Animal Shelter, which we all think sounds better.
It sounds hopeful. So it doesn't sound like the city has to allocate so much money to solve this problem. It sounds like, hey, we're doing this thing and there's hope. So I get that.
Right. So anybody that's confused by that, they're like, I thought it was ACAF. I thought it was. It's still the same thing. It's the same group. It's the same organization. The name has just changed. Right. So yeah. Long story short, the update is it looks so pretty. They even put like. Because I'm not on the board anymore. I'm on the fundraising committee. I might be rejoining the board because I just lost a member of the board. So I might get back into it. I haven't decided yet. I kind of am like the outsider. I help. I'm still very involved. I just stepped away from the board. But the board even decided as a collective, which I thought this was really cool. In the main bathroom, like the employee bathroom, they had a full shower installed. Which you're like, why would you install a full shower? I don't know how many of you have ever worked with rescues or worked in a shelter, but it's a dirty job, and there are times when you're at that job where something may happen. You may have a sick animal, you may have something that comes in that, accidents happen, and now you're dirty and you have to go home to your own pets. One of the things that they wanted to do was actually have this place for employees where if you need to take a shower before you leave, there's a shower. There's a washer and dryer, which of course we have to have anyway for all the other stuff. But like the employees and the volunteers are going to be allowed to use the shower if they need it, or allowed to use the washer and dryer. So if you need to do that, I thought that was such a cool, I'd never seen that in one of our shelters around us. So I thought that, as silly as it is, when I walked in there, I'm like, how thoughtful to the staff, the volunteers, the employees and all that, how thoughtful that was that we thought of them and what they'll be going through here. You can't hear her, but my dog's streaming. She's singing.
I can hear it.
But can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably can. I don't know if this microphone picks her up.
You know what? When I worked at the bike shop, we had a shower in there too, and it was really handy for like we'd go on bike rides and stuff. We'd come back, would be gross and stuff. You hop in there, rinse off real quick. It's very handy. And
I think it's just something people don't think about. But either way, that was in there. We've got 5 kennels, I think, 5 or 6 kennels in the back, which, they're all really nice. And then we only finished the very center part of the building. The one side will have a bunch of cold storage where we can store like food and stuff. It's all sealed off, to keep critters out. But, there's cold storage on the one side. And then the other side of the building is still completely unfinished. So we have the ability to expand over time, which I think is just amazing. So soon, hopefully this spring, we'll have a big grand opening reveal and all that stuff.
That is awesome. You've been doing great work for that. So great job, Jess. And thank you so much, PJ, for the question. Leave us
thank you, PJ.
Leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/ccmousepodcast. And to wrap up this up, we got to thank our producers, Jess, the people on Patreon that make this possible, that help pay for all the service space, all the time that it takes to make this podcast happen. So without further ado, I'd like to thank Traveling Sheep 42, Steve Weston, My Life So Far, Nicholas Tafuri, B. Graham. Don't get it confused with C. Graham or A. Graham. It's B. Graham. Pamela Matthews, Melissa Fletcher, and Delaney. Or Delaney. Is AI make it the I sound? I after E, except after the part that I didn't graduate high school. So thank you guys so much for being part of the Patreon community. You guys get the episodes first before anybody else. You guys get all the Dan TV stuff. I think I've been putting up a couple trailers. I think the last trailer I put up yesterday, the day before, was the Uncharted trailer. And we got movie watches coming up. And a new thing, I will be live reacting to Fail Army videos, because who doesn't want to see Dan react to people getting kicked in the zipper, So
right?
Thank you guys so much for the Patreon support and the love. It really honestly, that really does help pay for the show. So I really appreciate it.
Pretty much, that's what really keeps our episodes uploaded. What is it? Patreon.com/ccmousepodcast.
Yes, for your eyes.
If you guys want to join, don't feel like you have to.
Yes. Oh, we've gotten a couple of new supporters the last couple of weeks, so that's good.
Nice.
Thank you so much. So with that, Jess, let's wrap this up. I know you have a bunch of things to go do, and it's gonna be coloring book night. I know, huh? Live stream.
It is. I'm excited. I'm so not ready, but I'm excited.
I know it'll be a lot of fun. So, any final words before we get out of here?
It's cold outside. No, not really.
All right, that'll do it for this week's episode of the CC Mouse Podcast. Find us everywhere on your favorite music app. See the video version at youtube.com/CC Mouse Podcast, and we'll see you next time. Same mouse time, same mouse podcast. Bye, everybody.
Yay! We did a thing.
I love it.